Hello everyone, please let me introduce to you today the Kosang C299PRO. The 299PRO is a semi-automatic tire changing machine. You can remove tires from the wheel, but you can also put new tires onto the wheel in a semi-automatic fashion. Okay, so please let me demonstrate to you how to use the machine. In the first round we're gonna remove the tire from the wheel, and afterwards we're gonna put the tire on again. So in order to remove it, we're gonna place the wheel onto the feeder here first. Then we're gonna lift it up, put it into place, and then I will show you what to do next. So at first we're gonna place the wheel like this. Then we're gonna use the left pedal to lift the wheel up and then being able to put it into place. Now that it's up here, we can pull it over here. Make sure it's in the right position. There's a bolt down here that's gonna go into one of the holes, like the screwing holes. So we need to make sure it's in the right place so that we can now press the same pedal again to drive it down. Now the bolt is in the screw hole, so it's already put in place, and we now make sure it's centralized above the hole here, so that we can now take the screw and drill it like so. Just to make sure the wheel is in place, it's mounted properly and fixed properly. All right. Okay, so now before we separate the tire from the rim, we will release a little bit of air pressure with this little tool. Just gonna stick it in. Turn around a little bit. Release a little bit of air pressure, because once we separate them, all the air is going to come out at once. So we want to make sure that there's a little bit less air pressure for that. Okay, so now before we separate the rim from the tire, we're going to release some air pressure. For that we use the little tool and open this valve, like so. Okay, so now we are ready to remove the tire from the rim. And in order to do so, at first we're gonna bring the separator in place. This is the separator wheel. We're gonna click this one in first. And then this one is freely movable, so we will make sure this is on the correct position. And then we can drive this separator down with the lever here. But just pressing down. Gonna take it down just above the wheel, just above the little spot where the tire and the rim meets, so that it's properly placed. We can manually move it out a little bit until it's perfectly placed, and then press the orange button to lock it. So now the separator is in place, and we are ready to drive it in and actually to remove or to separate the tire from the rim. Okay, so now we are going to separate the tire from the rim. And in order to control the separator over here, we have a lever here that will drive it down or up. And we have a lever on this side that will drive the separator into the rim. And we need to use both at the same time to control how it's going to be separated. You're going to see it in a moment. Okay, so while we rotate, we are using a lubricant here to reduce any friction and any damages on the tire. So we just apply the lubricant here, like so, and now the tire won't take any damage. Okay, so now while we are rotating the wheel with the pedal, we need to make sure we hold this lever on the back side, so the separator will be placed inside of the wheel. So we're going to hold it, rotate the wheel at the same time, and then as we need, we use this lever to drive the separator even more down, just as we see fit to separate it. Okay, so now that we have finished separating the tire and the rim on the top side, we are now gonna do the exact same thing on the bottom side. And for that, I'm gonna drive the separator up, then rotate it around, unlock it, and then I'm gonna drive it down to reach the underside. All right, so now that we have already separated the rim from the tire on the bottom side, we're gonna apply some lubricant on the separator down here while we're spinning. All right, so now I'm gonna lock it in again. And now we have to place it at the line between tire and rim again from the underside. And in order to see it, there's a mirror over here. We can just check the mirror and bring the separator into place. Like so. Then we use the back lever to drive it in again. And now we're going to start rotating. Okay, so in the next step, we're going to lower the separator first. And then we're going to use this separator. First, we're going to drive it down and then bring it into place. With those two buttons, I will show you at first. We use this pedal to bring the second separator down. Like so. And then we can move it freely like this and adjust the height with the buttons. Like so. And now put it like this. After it's in place, we use the orange button to lock it. Okay, so now this separator is brought in place right at the edge of the rim. We have locked it with the orange button. And now we are going to drive the hook on the back side into the tire with this lever. All the way in. In the second step, we are going to bring this separator over here. Bring it down. Like so. We go back to this separator and drive the hook up again. So it will take the inside of the tire out, like will overlap it with the rim. Like so. And now we are ready to spin the wheel and separate it all the way. Okay, now that the hook is driven out and the inside of the tire is brought out by the hook, we are now going to drive this separator up again, take it out of the way, and now we are ready to rotate the rim and separate it all the way around. Like so. But in the next step, we're gonna make sure we can drive this separator up again. For that, we need to take the tire out of the way, make sure we can lift it up. Then we do so by pressing this pedal. Now in the next step, we are going to use this separator again, drive it up, and then rotate it to separate it eventually. So we bring it up here. Okay, so now that we have detached the top side of the rim, we are now detaching the lower one. And for that, at first we have to drive this separator up. We need to make sure that the tire is out of the way. And then we're going to drive it up with this pedal. All right, then we're going to use this separator, drive it up all the way until we can see it here above the rim. And then we need to lock it into place with this backside lever again and then rotate it. So I will demonstrate that right now. I will drive it up. You drive it up until you can see it above the rim for about 2 centimeters or maybe 1 inch. And then you're gonna press the back lever to bring it in like this. And then basically you are ready to rotate. Now you're ready to rotate and separate the whole rim. Like so. Okay, now once we are ready to put the tire back on, we need to make sure to use lubricant before we do so. So we're gonna apply the lubricant at first all around so that there's no friction and no damage to the tire. In the next step, we're gonna put the tire back up. Place it on top. Okay, so now we're going to start to put the tire onto the rim again. And for that step, we're going to use this tool again. In order to put it in place, we first flip the tire a little bit to the back, like so that we have room for the tool. We're then gonna drive this tool down again with the pedal. Like so. And now we are going to place the tire at an angle just next to the tool, like so. And then we are ready to rotate. Like so. Okay, so after this, we are going to make sure that the tire is flipped slightly to the back. So we're gonna start from this side to put it on again. And for that, we are going to use the tool down here. We're gonna unlock it first. Then we're gonna rotate the tool like so, and then we're gonna bring it up. Like so. We're gonna lock it again. Bring it in place. Now we're gonna take this tool over here. Okay, so in order to proceed, we need to make sure that the tire is flipped slightly, just so that it's behind the hook on the backside. Then we're gonna use this tool down here. We're gonna bring it up, but after unlocking it, we're gonna turn it around, lock it again, bring it down slightly, like so. Now we need to make sure that the tire is slightly to that side, so that the tool on the back side will feed it and bring it into place. In the next step, we're going to use this tool over here, bring it about to this position, and drive it down here, like so. And now from this position we are ready to rotate and bring the tire into the wheel again. Okay, so now we're going to rotate. Okay, so before we put the air back into the tire, we're going to remove our tools. One by one, first this one. Going to put it to the side. Then we're going to drive this one up. Unlock it, and then we're going to take this up with the pedal down here. Okay, so now we are ready to put the air back into the tire. So first we're going to close the valve. Close it. Then in the next step, we're going to fill the air inside. Like so. And now we're going to use this interface up here. We can change the pressure, like the pressure we want to use, with the plus or minus. We can change units. We have a display for bar, kilogram per square centimeter. We have kPa, psi. In this case, we're going to use bar. We're going to use 2.4. And then once we want to start letting the air in, we're just going to press on button and it's going to start to pump air into the wheel. Okay, now we have filled up the wheel with air, and now we're ready to put it down to the ground again. For that, going to remove the valve here, bring it back, and then we're gonna unmount the wheel. For that, we're gonna shall we do it again? And then after it's detached, we are going to drive up the platform, move it over here.